Now, of all the financial headaches in the world at the moment, the world's oldest bank might just have the worst. Shares in Monte dei Paschi were suspended on Tuesday after falling 23% in the wake of an announcement of an ambitious restructuring plan. The bank is at the centre of Europe's banking crisis. Italy is the EU's fourth biggest economy, and it can't currently fix the problem of bad loans to its banks. Investors are worried about insolvency, but Monte dei Paschi's customers also have cause for concern. So let's take a look at some of the specifics of its plan. The bank announced it will cut 2,600 jobs, or around 10% of its workforce. In the plan, it will also reduce its number of branches from 2,000 to 1,500 over the next 3 years. And by 2019, Monte dei Paschi aims to net in a profit of more than $1.9 billion through accelerating investment into digital banking and focusing more on retail banking as well. But its problems are still big. So joining me now from Paris to look at how big is our editor-at-large, Craig Copetas. Craig, many thanks for joining us once more. Let's drill down into the numbers quickly on Monte dei Paschi's loans, because they're quite staggeringly large, aren't they?
Oh, well, no, they're astronomical. Look, Monte owes 30 billion euros. That's a lot of money. And they don't have it to pay back. And their restructuring is whistling past the graveyard. They're taking the Greek route. When something like this happens at a bank, Joel, they do 4 things. Eventually, they'll either default on part of the debt. They've already sold assets and cutting jobs. Now, the vested interests don't like that because they're losing money. They've gone to the Italian government for help, and the government doesn't have any money to give them. And what they're going to do next, and you can count on this, they're going to ask their bondholders to swap debt for equity. Equity in what? A bank that owes 30 billion euros?
And that's a problem, isn't it, as far as the bondholders are concerned? Italy, as we know, has a lot of its citizens who own bonds in Italian banks, so they're paying either way. As far as what happens if this plan fails, though, are we looking at insolvency? Presumably that's what investors are worried about.
Well, this is a core problem. Right now, the IMF says that Italy's pile of stinking, rotten bank loans, bad bank loans, is 360 billion euros. Think about that. Now, right now, today, it's easier to find a colony of Eskimos in Sicily than it is to find a solvent Italian bank. Now, I don't know where that money's going to come from. And I don't know anyone who's going to want to invest in this restructuring. Notice they use the word digital. We're going to create a digital bank, and we're going to be consumer-oriented. Well, Monte's never been that kind of bank. Joel, Monte was one of the banks back in the 15th century that invented the bond market as we know it today.
Exactly. I mean, as far as the customers themselves are concerned, it is a big worry about what happens next. But Europe, beyond the borders of Italy, as we said, also has concerns as far as this issue is concerned, doesn't it?
Right. It's called the cascade effect. We saw it in Greece. It's now taking place in Italy. Will it cascade into Spain and other countries? Well, we have to wait to see. But the betting is that it eventually will. The proverbial bottom line here, Joel, is math. They just don't have the money. And the irony in this is that the original name of Monte was the Bank of Piety. Banco Piata. Now, there's nothing pious about this bank today, and there was nothing pious about it back then. These guys screwed the pooch. They lent more than $30 billion. To who? Who was managing it? Who are these companies? They have a lot of explaining to do, as they say in Texas.
Yes, I'm sure they do. Who is responsible? This is a question I'm sure we will come back to more than once going forward. Craig Copetas, many thanks.
You bet we will.